Hello and welcome to today's episode of Dream Business, Dream Life. Today I am super excited to be joined once again by Julie Bale. Now, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you will know that Julie has been a guest on here before. But there's two reasons I invited her back today, both which are super exciting. The first, later this year, Julie and I are collaborating on something that we are both so excited about, and we want to share that with you. But more importantly, Julie has been through the most unbelievable growth journey since she last came on here. And I wanted her to share that with you because it is the absolute perfect example how you can create the thing I talk about all of the time, which is the dream business and the dream life. So, Julie is a singer, a voice teacher, hypnotherapist, an author. But to me, she will always be the Diva creator. And I am super excited to have her here with me today. Hello, my lovely Julie. How are you?
Hello, thank you so much for having me back on again. It's so great to be here.
Super excited. Okay, let's dive straight in. So, take us back a little bit first, just quickly back to pre-February, wasn't it? 2025. What was life and business for? What did it look like for you back then?
So I went through this stage. I've always been a singer. I've always been singing since the age of two, singing since the womb, probably. Um, and but what happened in my singing career was that I ended up coming to a place where I discovered there was lots of performance anxiety going on, and not just for myself, but also for my students. And through that, I discovered hypnotherapy. And you know what it's like. You discover a new toy. And I was so excited about this and how it could help singers to be more confident on stage, to deal with imposter syndrome and all of that kind of thing, all these wonderful tools. And then as I worked more with hypnotherapy, I thought, well, it's doing all this incredible stuff. What if it could help me to lose weight too? And that had always been an issue for me. And I went down that path and I created a program which turned into a business. And that's sort of where we first met, wasn't it? When I had created this incredible program with clients who had lost loads and loads of weight. Myself, I'd also lost 35 pounds using hypnotherapy to lose weight. And I was really sort of focusing in that area. And that was my business. However, I'm a musician. And what was happening for me towards the end of last year was I kept being tapped on the shoulder. I kept having these taps on the shoulder. Look what's happening over here. You could help that person. I would see people struggling with their singing, and know that within 2 minutes, I could help them to feel more comfortable, or people who were too scared to sing. And then I started having this same conversation every time I would meet all of these now new wonderful friends of mine, these new connections, these women in business, who would say to me, "Oh, you're a singer. I'd love to sing, but." And the but was always somebody has said to me in the past that I'm tone deaf, that I should mime when others sing, that I'm not good enough, that I shouldn't sing. And these are what I always say to people now, people who are usually wholly unqualified to tell anybody that they can't sing, because I believe that everybody can sing. And so I just kept thinking, I have got to do something about this. So I took a step towards that. And in January of this year, I decided I was going to create a program to help everybody sing, with a particular emphasis on those people who had thought that they couldn't. And there's another strand as well, because the other strand was I also kept hearing about people who were saying next year, and you know, we all do, we'll have our word for the next year, we'll have our goal for the next year. Next year in my business, I'm going to focus on main character energy. And I didn't know what that was, so I had to look it up. And main character energy, I think it comes from video games or something. And really, what they were saying was, I'm going to be the main character in my life. I'm going to be the most powerful, have the most presence, have the most charisma, all of that kind of thing. And I thought to myself, that's not main character energy. That's diva energy. And that I can teach people that because that's something that I use myself as a complete introvert. I am a complete introvert. But when I get on the stage, I can switch on this diva energy and become the person who has the presence, the charisma. If you want to really deliver being the face of your business, you need to be able to sort of step into your biggest confidence, your presence, your charisma, your personal power, connection, you know. And for me, that was all about learning to sing. So those two elements came together. And I thought, what if I created a program where people could come and learn to sing, but in the process also have all of these other things that come with it as well, the confidence, the presence, the power, all of that stuff. Learn how to connect, how to be vulnerable on stage through singing. And so I'm going to get a group of 10 women in business together, and I'm going to take them through people who have had either no experience of singing at all, people who most definitely have been told they don't have a voice, they shouldn't sing. And because I am qualified, because I have 35 years experience, because I have a degree in music and a diploma from the Royal College of Music, and I've worked with the top people in the industries as well as singing on stages, so I know that everybody can sing. I've worked with over 1,000 singers. I've helped 1,000 people to sing. And now I want to focus on helping women in business do that, people who have always wanted to sing but thought it wasn't for them. So I have a client now, and she came to me because she won me in a raffle. She won a 60-minute singing lesson with me a few years ago. And she came to me, she was really timid. And I said to her, what's your goal? What goal do you have? If you could do anything with your voice, what would you do? And she said to me, I'd really like to sing hymns confidently in church. And I thought, do you know what? That is a really great goal, fantastic goal. Sing hymns in church. Let's have a go. So over the course of the lesson, we did some work. I showed her how she could use her body to get a better sound, how to get a better quality sound, just simple changes, doing different things, working with the breath, all of these physical things. And it was quite clear by the end of it that she could sing. And I said to her, you can absolutely smash this. You can sing hymns confidently in church. And she burst into tears. She stood there crying. And she said to me, these words that are really the core of my mission, that sit with me in everything. She said to me, I always thought that singing was a party that I'm not invited to.
Wow.
And so my mission, I know, and it does, doesn't it? It gets you at the back of the throat every time. And and I thought, I want to invite everybody to my singing party. So that's where I'm at and what I'm doing.
And how exciting, how exciting. And this business has literally grown arms and legs so quickly, hasn't it? And what I love about it is it's not just about singing, is it? It's not just about singing.
No, it's absolutely not just about singing. Singing is the way in, and obviously, the people who I work with, they want to sing. They want to find their voice, but most of them, and in fact, I would say out of the 10 that I'm working with in this particular program at the moment, I would say probably 9 of them came. And in the first session that they came to me, they expected me to validate the belief that they'd had that they could not sing. So, yes, they all want to sing, but what they have found from being a part of this program is they've discovered so much more about themselves. It is really a voyage of personal growth, because when you have permission to sing, you're giving yourself permission to sing, permission to use your voice, that your voice matters, then so much else in the whole of your world changes. So the confidence certainly from a start changes. People who are doing things. I even have one of my, I call my clients divas, and I rather like that,
I
because
love
who
that.
doesn't want to be a diva? Who doesn't want to be a diva? But yeah, one of my clients has gone from not ever singing, believing that she couldn't sing, believing that her voice wasn't worth listening to, and is now starting to even build a music business herself, bringing more singing to people who have also felt that they couldn't sing, and to bring singing to people for the joy of singing, not because they're going to be the next Mariah Carey. Imagine a world filled with Mariah Careys. That's
Once at Christmas is enough.
yeah. But imagine just singing for joy. There used to be a time, didn't there, where everyone would meet up down the pub and sing. Emma, you're too young to know this, but there were there were people used to just gather around the piano and sing along, not because they were a great singer, but just because how singing makes you feel, because that's the thing. Singing, it's not about how you sound, it's about how you feel. And then when you feel confident to sing, you realize that there's so much more you can do with your voice. And as a business owner, your voice is your power. It's that
Absolutely.
connection. It's everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the confidence, as a business owner, if you are working with them not only to build their singing abilities, but to build their confidence, to be that diva, to be that person that stands on stage, that is building their confidence when they're doing everything in the business, when they're connecting with the clients, when they're doing their own marketing. If they want to go on stages and talk on stages, they can throw a tune in there as well. I mean, how amazing does that make it? To have those extra tools in your toolkit is unbelievable. Even I imagine the breathing techniques that you're helping them with to sing are going to help them in so many other ways.
Yes, absolutely. Lots of people who I work with talk about speaking on stages, and when we have our very first singing lesson, and I show them what we in the business call postural alignment, but really it's sort of how to stand best to make your best noise. That's what it is, and we talk about how you should have loose knees,
Oh,
and people say, I've never thought of that before. But then when we start working with airflow, sort of breathing techniques, we
mhm.
want to, when we're speaking, we're using our breath in a slightly different way. But when we're singing, we're wanting to use a lot of air very quickly. And if we impede the air flow in any way, I'm getting a bit technical here, I'm going to stop in a minute. But if we impede that air, then we stop the airflow, which stops us being able to talk. So quite often you'll find, and here's your top tip, folks, you'll find that if you're on stage and you're speaking and suddenly you're thinking, oh, my voice is going funny, what are your knees doing? Just check out your legs, because you'll find you probably very, very tense in your legs. And if you let go of your knees, then everything else, so the pelvis, the chest and everything else is freer, and your airflow will become freer too.
There you go. Who would have ever have known that unless they'd had somebody amazing like you in their lives to teach them that stuff? And I think, this is really interesting stuff. Obviously, it's very complicated stuff. But no wonder people think they can't sing because they would never know anything like that, would they? They would never know that it's just about the technique. I say just, that sounds like makes it really simple. I know it's not. It's about the technique. It's about how you hold yourself. It's about all of that stuff built in with. Do you work with, does your hypnotherapy come into your program as well?
Absolutely. I mean, that is where I came in
Hmm.
to where I came into hypnotherapy, was to help singers, and actually, first of all, to help me, because I'd got to a place where I'd got this thing going on where I would go on stage, and instead of being what I wanted to be, which was free and fearless, I would instead have a voice screaming in my head, or words saying, "Oh, you're gonna mess up, you're gonna fall over," and all of this kind of thing. And that is even more important to people who have those messages ingrained from years and years of you can't sing, you can't do this, what makes you think you can do that? You're tone deaf, when most people don't even know what tone deafness is. And tone deafness exists, it absolutely does, but it's very, very rare. The chances are, if you've ever been told you're tone deaf, it's just that you need a little bit of changing the way you're using your body. And in that way, Emma, it is really simple because there are just really simple ways of holding your body, of playing with your airflow, and one of which includes in my sessions a kazoo. Who knew? But but we like by playing a kazoo, we can really connect to our airflow, to our whole body when we're speaking, when we're singing. It makes a huge difference. And always in the first lesson, in the first part of the first lesson, there will be these huge aha moments where people realize that actually it's not ever that they couldn't sing. It's just that singing is a skill and they just needed a little bit of help to show them how to do it best for their body. And once they do that, then they're flying.
Yeah, and that's the same with everything, isn't it? If you're not sure how to do something, you invest in somebody that can help you to get better at that. But we can all do anything if we put our minds to it, and we want to put our minds to it. So if there's people listening to this, Julie, business owners or even non-business owners that are listening to this and thinking, do you know what, there's this little teeny weeny little bit of something in me that says I'd like to sing, but I think I'm that one person that Julie is going to turn round to and say, no, you really can't sing. What would you suggest they did?
Well, they need to come and see me, basically. They need to come and see me. They can it mostly when people get this, when you get like what I call the little person dancing inside, going, could it be me? Could it be me? Normally people are ready to take that step forwards. And of course at the moment we've got this thing coming that we're going to talk about in a bit, that people can join. But if you are even more concerned than that, you can book a free 15-minute consultation with me, where in that time I will show you some things that will show you that you can do this.
Yeah. And I'm just going to add to this. I was on a call with Julie, totally unexpected, very, very recently, when I was sort of like, okay, Emma, off you go, you sing. And you did actually get you did improve my singing. It's got a long way to go, but you did within literally seconds. She said, try this, and you could feel and see the difference. Honestly, if you've got any doubts, look Julie up. I'm going to share everything in the show notes anyway, so do look Julie up. Okay, so you just touched on it slightly. Um, Tell us a little bit about your current, not your current, your next cohort. So you've got a group of people who, at the moment, who are going through the training at the moment, and they are going to be hosting a concert in September. But let's talk about what happens after that. So tell us about what happens for the next batch of people that are going to have this opportunity.
Sure. So the next batch of people are going to have something really exciting, because my program is called From First Note to Final Curtain, which means that you can come having no singing experience whatsoever. And through that, I guide you through vocal technique, performance technique, because we need that as well, how to connect with people on the stage, and the hypnotherapy part, the performance mindset, all of that. But it ends with the final curtain, which is a performance in public with a professional accompanist and with the rest of the cohort. And one of the beautiful things about this program is that you get to go through it with other people exactly the same as you. And we meet up, we have a day that I call a Diva day, where we meet up And everybody sings for each other, and the connections that are built on those days are just incredible, so strong. Everybody celebrating and supporting each other through their singing. And the final curtain that's happening for the next cohort is going to be a really beautiful, I might even say candlelit sort of Christmas concert, which is going to take place the night before, not the night before Christmas, no.
Oh no. Santa
It's,
comes then.
it's going to take place the night before the growth event at Christmas. So the concert will be on the 7th of December, leading in, so bringing in Christmas for everybody the night before the Christmas growth event on the 8th of December.
Absolutely. And this has sort of been something that I think has been in the pipeline for a long time, hasn't it? Because when me and Julie first connected, I remember saying, oh, there's nothing more special than Christmas music. Julie, you need to bring Christmas music to my Christmas growth event. Obviously, for whatever reason, last year was never going to happen that way. But this year it is happening. Okay, it's not at the actual event, although sneaky little update here, Julie is going to be one of our speakers at the growth event at Christmas. So you never know. You never know. There you go, sneaky little before it's become official. Um, so it's going to be bringing this Christmas singing, these songs, whatever they're going to look like. Obviously, haven't got a clue what they're going to look like because right now there is the opportunity for you to become one of those Christmas divas. So if you are sitting here thinking, I would love to do that. I've always fancied doing a bit of singing, but I'm not quite sure I'm the right person or I'm tone deaf, all of those things that Julie's spoken about. Get yourself in this concert. What to me is the most beautiful thing about this and how Julie has created her business model is this concert is not just about an ideal opportunity for the people to show their voices to the world. It is also about giving back. So every single one of these concerts that Julie puts on, and there will be one at the end of every single cohort, is being done for charity. So all profits go to a charity. And obviously, because this is me and Julie doing something together, it was my charity of choice, which is Windmills. So anybody that's been in my world for a while will know that Windmills are a bereavement charity. They support children when they have gone through a bereavement, and they supported my gorgeous two grandchildren when we lost Becky. And I'm not going to get upset. So I am super, super excited that we are having this opportunity to do something that I love, Christmas music. I may well have to choose a song. I may well have to choose a song that somebody is going to sing because I love listening to singing. But all, as I say, profits are going to go to Windmills, which to me is perfect, absolutely perfect. So we haven't officially launched the tickets for the concert yet. However, if you want to buy a ticket, you absolutely can do that. We have a little bit of a backdoor way to do that. We will be promoting it further down the line. So there you go. There's your opportunities. Get in touch with Julie and become one of the Jingle Divas. It is going to be an amazing evening, but more than that, you are going to have an amazing experience on the run up to doing that. And you're going to finally be able to get that voice that's been inside of you for so long out there in the public domain. And you're going to give me goosebumps because that is the thing that I want to feel. I want to feel those goosebumps when I hear people singing. Anything you want to add to that, Julie?
I think just if you are sitting there and you are thinking, I know that you've said all of that, but I really don't think it's me, but you want to do it. Seriously, everybody can sing. Let's give it a go. Get in touch with me. Let's have a go. And I will hold your hand throughout this whole process. And not only me, all of the other divas do the same as well. You will be in this beautiful cohort of people who are there to celebrate you. That's what you will get from this.
Absolutely. And I'm sure if there's still any doubt after all of that, anybody that's doing the current cohort would happily tell you about their experience because there has been some unbelievable change in people, hasn't it? In the testimonials and everything that have been coming through in the short space of time that they've been doing it ready for this first round is unbelievable. So I'm sure that some people would happily share their experiences too. Okay. we can't end this just like that. We have to end this how we end every other podcast. So Julie, let's have a top tip. I know you've already shared one or two tips with us, but what would your top tip be for people who are listening to this?
My top tip is this. If you're sitting there and you really, really are thinking, I really want to do this, do it. Life's too short. Give it a go. You can sing. Let's sing together.
Absolutely love that. And Julie, where do people come and find you?
So they can find me at, I'm on all of the socials, so Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you can find me on my website, which is juliebale.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Julie, for joining me again today. I have absolutely loved chatting with you. And thank you to everybody else for listening. We will see you next time.